YouTube, Electric Adventures here with a bit of a different video. I was lucky enough, basically for most of yesterday, Saturday, and well into the night, to go to an event called PinCrawl 2018. This is a group of like-minded pinball enthusiasts here in Tasmania, mostly located in the north of Tasmania. Extra bonus cat for this video. Every year they put on an event at one or more places. This year it was actually at 3 different people's places. We left early yesterday morning, which is Saturday morning, and drove up to the north part of Tasmania to Launceston, and we got to have a preliminary practice session. This is just myself and fellow podcast member Aaron and another friend of mine called Gary, I've mentioned a few times. That's his NBA Jam cap behind. And we got to practice at Justin's place, which is a very nice, well fit out space under his house. He has quite a few machines in there. He is the master of Tetrising in machines into a small space, and he has quite a mixture of really old pinballs and medium-aged pinballs, as well as one modern one. He's got a Metallica pinball, so he's got quite a bit of variety of pinball on that. And he has, besides the Metallica, not paid very much money for them at all. Most of them have been, salvaged and completely done up from scratch. So they actually, a group of people call themselves the Pinball Mafia. And they go around rescuing pinballs from all places and doing them up between them. So we got to have a good practice there, and I said I will do, after my little talky bit here, I will give you a bit of a mixture of slideshow with some snippets of video. I didn't take a lot of video, but I did take lots of pictures of the machines. So we practiced at Justin's for a little while, and then we went to the actual first place, which was a gentleman called Frank. He mostly had older generation pinballs that he salvaged in a small space, and we got started there. And for me, by the way, there were 14 people in the competition, so they run it as an actual tournament as well. And there were 5 machines at the first place. Unfortunately, one, as old pinballs do, one of them stopped working, so we couldn't use that one. But I actually managed to come. I was coming 5th by the time at the first site. Attacked by a cat. And we had fun. We had a sausage on the barbecue sort of thing. And then the next stage was actually back at Justin's place. And funnily enough, all that practice I actually did not for any of my tournament, because you play the games once and once only. Once the tournament starts, you just play each machine and record your score. I actually didn't score. None of my scores at Justin's place were anything like what I did in practice, so in other words, I bombed completely. So I actually came last at that venue, so it wouldn't spin it. But I said, look, my excuse, I don't have a physical pinball of my own. I've only got Pinball Arcade to practice on, and had lots of fun. And then we moved on to the next place, which was a gentleman called Steve. And his selection of pinballs were a lot more modern vintage machines. He actually has a brand new fitted out garage. Apparently a couple of years ago these were all in his house, and as you can see by the screenshots and hopefully a little bit of video I've got for you, he has a very impressive array of machines. We only had one casualty, unfortunately. I did get to play it. The Indiana Jones machine stopped working. It's not a major fault, he should be able to fix it. We did have a couple of problems with the Jurassic Park machine, but we managed to run the tournament on. And his pride and joy, fresh out of box new, was an AC/DC Lucy machine, which is a very, very bright modern machine. It was interesting playing that one. And he had all sorts of machines. Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I actually quite enjoy. Twilight Zone, which is a very hard pinball. He had 2 Street Fighter 2s. He's going to sell one of those apparently, but he found them, I don't know if we found them together or whatever. And he had things like a really unusual one called Black Rose. I really enjoyed that one. I actually quite like that as a pinball. He had one of my favourites on Pinball Arcade that I played a lot is Star Trek Next Generation. You had the Jurassic Park, you had the Indiana Jones, but he also had a Doctor Who, a Terminator 2, which is a really, really hard pinball. It's interesting, everybody shied off doing their tournament score until they built up their confidence, and some of the others, I'm just trying to think of some of the other machines. But anyway, I took pictures of every single machine, so they should be in the montage that I do after this talkie. But I had lots and lots of fun. Of course I would love to one day get a pinball machine myself, but you know, they're not cheap and they do require a lot of maintenance, so I need to be in the stage where I'm able to do them up. I have been doing some friend favours for a local gentleman who actually does have a couple of pinball tables, and we have talked about me swapping some of my labour for one of them at some stage, so you never know what might happen in the future. I would love one, and I am going to reorganise this part of the game room shortly, because NBA Jam is about to get, now that it's all fixed, it's about to go back to Gary's place, and we're going to do a bit of work to get all these cocktails tied up and moved around and things. Yeah, I will allow room just in case I come across one at a reasonable price. I'm not sure I would get a true old age one. As nice as they are to play, I wouldn't like that as my only primary pinball machine. I want something a bit newer, but no, I'm not going to get one of the new flashy ones. No way am I going to have that sort of money to be able to spend on a pinball machine like that, but never say never. Anyway, alright, I had lots of fun. Thanks to Justin, Frank and Steve for hosting at their places, and all the other members of the club up there for allowing me to come along and have fun playing pinball. I've played more pinball machines and actual time pinball machines than I have probably in the rest of my life, which is probably what I said last year, so there was definitely more on play this year. Which was very, very impressive that they've managed to scale it up so nicely. And it's nice to have something that is semi-local to where I live for once, rather than having to travel to mainland Australia for things. So, really enjoyed it, so thanks to all those guys, good shout out to them. And alright, enjoy my montage, bits and pieces of video and pictures of the machines I played. Alright, I'll catch you later.
I can't get the back box down to actually get it out. Yeah. Because the legs are too wide. It's quite because of this beam here. So the only way I could come up with shortening it effectively was to put the legs. arcade chums got their phones out like fucking tourists. Look out! They wave to the Japanese tourists. Here we go!